Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for being here with us today. It is Thursday, October 22nd, 2020, and we are at the Sunshine Coast Regional District regular board meeting. And I would like to call us to order at 1:31 p.m. I would like to acknowledge that the Sunshine Coast Regional District is located within the territories of the Seashell and the Squamish First Nations, and we're very grateful to be here. As you can see, we do have some staff and myself are joining you today from our actual boardroom located up on Field Road, and it's a very odd experience to be here after 7 months of not being here. So very grateful to be here today. We have an amended agenda in front of us today, and I'm going to look to staff and to directors if there's anything else that needs to be added before we adopt this amended agenda. Director Hiltz?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Under new business, Director Remuneration for Resilience Summit.
Okay, so terrific. Under new business. And I also see Director Ties.
Yes, under new business, please add, at discretion of the chair, the item letter of support for Roberts Creek Community Association.
Okay. So under new business, we have Director Remuneration for that was the Resiliency Summit, Director Hiltz? And
yes.
And then a letter of support, Roberts Creek Community Association, Director Ties. Okay. For the rest of the directors, are there any other items that you'd like to see added, or staff, is there anything else that we need to have added at this time? Okay, so I am going to ask for a motion to adopt our agenda. Motion carries. First up, we have the minutes of our regular board meeting of October 8th, 2020, Annex A, pages 1 to 17 of our package. I would like to ask, are there any errors, additions, omissions, changes that need to be made before we move to receive and adopt these minutes? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to receive and adopt the regular board meeting minutes of October 8th, 2020. So moved, Director Seekers, seconded Director Mcmahon. All those in favor? Motion carries. Is there any business arising from the minutes or unfinished business? Seeing no one jumping, we'll move on. We have no presentations and delegations today, but we have a plethora of reports and a few bylaw readings to do today. So I'm going to ask for a motion to receive all the reports, please. So move Director Seekers, seconded Director Ties. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. First up, we have Annex B, pages 18 to 23 of our package. These are the Planning and Community Development Committee recommendations, numbers 1, 3 to 7, 11 to 18 of October 8th, 2020. Directors, before we adopt these as a block, would you like to pull out any for further conversation? Director Kroll?
Thank you, Chair Pratt. On page 23 of the agenda, or page 6 of 6 of the report, recommendation 15, with respect to the Gibson's Pool, I would like some further clarification there, please.
Okay, so thank you. So Director Kroll has asked for recommendation 15 to be pulled. Other directors, any other recommendations that you would like to have pulled from this block? Okay, so seeing no more, I'll ask for a motion to adopt all the recommendations with the exception of number 15. So moved and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. And then on to recommendation number 15. Director Kroll, please.
Thank you, Chair Pratt. Just sort of to recap, Mayor Beamish did send a letter to the regional district with respect to the pool, and it came before us on the 8th of October. To date, there hasn't been a reply to Mayor Beamish, but I did have some clarification to an email that I sent to staff, and this the CAO replied to me, covered a number of things in it that I had raised. In my reply to him, I had requested some clarification. Was there staff capacity to reopen the pool? And then just sort of with respect to the corporate and administrative services meeting that we had earlier today, it was indicated that recreation wasn't quite in the dire straits that had been anticipated. So I would just further request of staff some information on the capacity of staffing to reopen the Gibson's pool earlier than the first of the year, and financial implications that might be incurred in doing so. And the town of Gibson's has passed a funding provision to cover the costs, the capital costs for PPE protection for the pool patrons and staff. So I'd just like to make a request for that additional information, please.
Okay, I'm going to look to the CAO, please.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Director Kroll. I did speak with CAO Machado briefly about this on Wednesday, and we agreed that we would get together to discuss it further. I would defer more to GM Hall on staffing, et cetera, but I do know that even with the one pool open, given the length of time that we were down, access to lifeguards is challenging at the best of times, in the best of conditions, and I know that I believe that we're a few lifeguards down, so I think there may be some challenges from a staffing perspective, but again, I'd defer to GM Hall on that for more specifics. But I'll be meeting with CAO Machado shortly to have some further discussions regarding the pool.
Okay, GM Hall?
Thank you, Chair. I would just say that staff are preparing a report, and we expect to have it at the next Planning and Community Development Committee meeting that I was going to say I hope, but I will make sure addresses the questions that the director raised, which certainly fit within the scope of the prior board direction to staff to report back in the fourth quarter about the status of the Gibsons and District Aquatic Facility. Thank you.
Okay. Director Kroll, a follow-up, and then I'll go to the other speakers.
Just thank you. Just for insight for staff, Gibson's Council and Gibson staff are being, I wouldn't say completely inundated, but we are being barraged with emails from the community. The latest is an online petition that has been launched. So it is an awkward situation, and I do fully appreciate the fact that, there has been an attempt, and I commend staff for their efforts in providing recreation facilities, but it's been difficult for a community to understand that traditionally that has always had a pool, that it's not accessible to them. And the other big argument we're getting is a lot of seniors who are just finding it difficult because of their transportation abilities to be able to travel to the facility in Seashell. So anything that can be done to expedite moving this forward would be appreciated.
Okay. Thank you, Director Kroll. Director McMahon, I have you next.
Yeah, I'm just curious whether our rec facilities like the pool are normally closed over the Christmas holidays or open, because this is going to be a difficult Christmas holiday. I think a lot of people who normally travel at Christmas or do things, big family gatherings, won't be able to do them. So I foresee a lot of folks at loose ends.
GM Hall, do you want to answer that question around closure over Christmas holidays, please?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. So other than statutory holidays, which there may be a closure or may be reduced hours, the facilities remain open with the exception of the Pender Harbor Aquatic and Fitness Center, which is part of the school complex and sometimes has a closure scheduled to match the school. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, GM Hall. Director Kroll, does that satisfy the questions that you had around recommendation number 15?
Yes, I appreciate that, Chair Pratt, and thank you, staff, for anything you can do to expedite things.
Okay. So seeing that we do have recommendation number 15, can I ask for a motion to adopt this recommendation? So moved Director McMahon, seconded Director Kroll. Thank you. Motion carries. Next up, we have the Infrastructure Services Committee recommendations, numbers 1 through 15 of October 15th, 2020, Annex C, pages 24 to 28 of your package. Directors, before we adopt these recommendations as a whole, would you like to pull any for further debate? Seeing no sudden movements, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt these recommendations as a block, please. So moved Director Kroll, seconded Director Seegers. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Next up, 4A on our agenda is the Corporate and Administrative Services Committee recommendations, numbers 2, 5, and 9 of earlier today. And that's on page 28A of your package. Directors, before we adopt these as a block, would you like to debate any of them separately? Okay, I will ask from, Director McMahon?
Sorry, my fault for just coming to it, but okay, it says a community or police-based victim service. Okay, I guess that'll work. That wasn't quite the wording I recollected, but I think we were after a community social services.
Okay, I'm going to go to our corporate officer. Ms. Reid?
Thank you, Chair. It's in the second and that. The first phrase is just the receipt of the report. But if you look at the second and that clause. Typically the subtitle of the recommendation references the title of the staff report.
Okay. So Director McMahon, that satisfies. Director Seegers, I saw your hand up, but I see that it's been put down again, so I'm assuming that your question has been answered as well.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so seeing no further movements, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt this block as a whole on page 28A. So move Director McMahon, seconded Director Seegers. Any further discussion on these items? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Next up, we have Annex D, pages 29 to 30 of our package, and this is a placement of notice on title from our chief building official. And I will send it over to Brian Kennett, our building official, to present this item. And GM Hall, I see you. Sorry, I guess I'll go to you first, and then you can put it over to your staff. My apologies.
Oh, no problem, Chair. Thank you. So under Section 57.1 of the Community Charter, SCRD can place notice on title against land where we observe a condition with respect to a land, building, or structure that contravenes a regional district bylaw, provincial regulation, or another enactment. And so from time to time, staff bring forward recommendations. And at this time, staff have a recommendation respecting one property in Area B. And we have our building official, Brian Kennett, with us if there are any questions about the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you. I will look to directors to see if there are any questions for Mr. Kennett. Director Seegers, please.
Thank you. I believe with regards to moving forward with this, we need to give the applicant or the homeowner the ability to speak to us. Is that true here? It is at the municipality. And if so, I'm wondering if the homeowner is in the gallery.
Over to Mr. Kennett, please.
They have not contacted us or nor are present.
Thank you.
But for procedural clarity, yes, the owner of the land is advised that a notice on title will be placed, and they're advised of the time of the meeting, and that they will be given an opportunity to speak should they wish to.
And they're currently not within our attendee list, so we don't have them here. I see Director Hiltz.
So in terms of the process, is that a written notification or phone, email? What is the process?
We've sent a series of letters 4 different times and have received no contact.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions of staff on this item from directors? Okay, seeing none. So we've received this report, and so on page 29 of the package, I'm going to ask if I can have a mover for the staff recommendation that the corporate officer be authorized to file a notice at the Land Title Office stating that a resolution has been made by the Sunshine Coast Regional District Board under Section 57 of the Community Charter against the land title of Lot 18, Block 3, District Lot 1330, Plan 11394, NWD, Group 1, PID 009-073-761, Folio 746, 03014.095. So moved, Director Seegers. Seconded, Director Kroll. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, next up, we have number 6 on our agenda is the Chief Administrative Officer's Report of October 22nd, 2020. Over to the CAO, please.
Thank you, Chair Pratt. It's a verbal update again this week. I was technically on holidays last week, although apparently I'm terrible at doing that. It was a busy month. Attended the virtual UBCM, found the virtual ministers meetings with Team Sunshine Coast were very productive. Had an opportunity to resume the quarterly rural director / CAO meetings, which were good because that was the first time that I've actually been able to sit down with the rural directors. It had been quite some time, I think late 2019, since we'd had one of those. Started our new monthly CAO board virtual breakfast meetings, and that was really enjoyable actually, and I appreciate everyone's time for that. Continuing with the weekly CAO chair meetings, which are very productive, continuing with the weekly CAO meetings. On a staffing front, and I've mentioned it, but it's good to be able to mention it in the public forum as well. Our new communications and engagement manager has been hired, and we'll be starting with this at the end of November, which is very exciting. And we're well underway on the recruitment for the new manager of strategic initiatives position. The senior leadership team and a lot of their management staff have been working feverishly on the project initiation briefs that'll be leading towards the preliminary budget submissions for 2021. And finally, and I've had an opportunity to do this a couple of times now with Director Lee and some of the not-for-profits up at Pender Harbor. Back in the day when I was with Northern Development and also when I was with the District of Mackenzie, a lot of times there's not-for-profit groups that have project ideas or grant aspirations or things that they'd like to do that actually have nothing to do with the municipality or nothing to do with the regional district. And one of the things I used to do was sit down with them as a small group or even individually and just go through some of their projects and aspirations and talk about how they might align those projects, what grants might be available, how to describe the project in a way that makes it more fundable. I had an opportunity to do that already once with Director Lee, and I believe we've got some more meetings queued up maybe Monday of next week to talk about a few more projects. So for any of you directors that are hearing from your not-for-profit groups about ideas they have or things that they're trying to move forward, even if it might not be a fit for participation with SCRD or a municipality, if you'd like, I'm more than happy to get together with a number of groups or individual groups in my spare time on Zoom and go through their project lists with them. And you're welcome to participate, just in a way of trying to help out where I can. And that's my update.
Thank you very much, CAO McKinley. Directors, do you have any questions or comments for the CAO? There's like crickets. It's very quiet. Okay. Well, thank you very much, CAO McKinley. And we really appreciate the report. And with that, I will move on to, we have no communications. We have no motions today. Oh, but we have bylaw readings. Fantastic. We don't have as many as we did last board meeting, so thank you for that. So we are... So this is Annex E, pages 31 to 32 of your package. And this bylaw, we are doing first, second, and third reading today. And the voting participants, it is a weighted vote. So we have the rural areas, so areas A, B, D, E, and F. And then we also have the SIGD with voting as well. So I'm going to ask from first reading of, and I should look, do we want to have any introduction to this, or is this necessary, Corporate Officer?
Thank you, Chair. Not unless the directors have questions.
Okay.
It was replaced in the amended package.
Okay.
If you'd like me to speak to that.
Okay. I see Director McMahon has her hand up, so I'll go to Director McMahon and we'll see if there's any questions.
Just curious as to why it's a weighted vote, because it's usually a weighted vote on financial matters.
It's a weighted vote in accordance with the Local Government Act. Participants of the service, it's administration and operation of a service. So it's under the legislation that we do a weighted vote.
Okay. Terrific. Okay. So with that, I will ask for a motion for first reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Building Amendment Bylaw number 687.3 2020. So move first reading. Do I see a mover? Moved Director McMahon, seconded Director Ties. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. I will now ask for a we'll now ask for a motion for second reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Building Amendment Bylaw number 687.3 2020. So move second reading. Director Ties, seconded Director Hiltz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. And now for third reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Building Amendment Bylaw number 687.3 2020. So move third reading. Director Hiltz, seconded Director Paul. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. Wow, I feel like we should have more bylaw readings, but that's okay. With that, we will move on to our director's reports. So for director's reports, I've made a list, I've checked it twice, and I'm going to start off with Director Lee up in Area A, and we'll go to you first, please, for your director's report.
Thank you, Chair. I've been spending days getting this ready. The last 2 minutes. Anyways, we had some success in meeting with Ministry of Transport and the RCMP on abandoned vehicles on the Modi right-of-way. And I've been just notified that 3 vehicles are ready to be towed away and junked. And the towing will be paid by Modi. So that's good news. These have been sitting at the top of the Whiskey Slough government dock, taking up valuable parking space for at least a couple of years that I know of. So it's really nice to see. Well, actually, one's gone already, and so it's good that they're taken care of. We started out just hoping we could get approval to move them by getting residence money, and it turned out that there is ways of getting it done that exist already in both organizations' policies. But we had tremendous cooperation from the RCMP and Modi once we got going on it. So it's great. Good to see that. Attended the public hearing chaired by Director Pratt on the BC Ferries public hearing we held recently on the 20th. It's, I think it is the fastest public hearing probably on record. It was, we had to, poor Director Pratt was filling in the blank spaces, struggling to fill in the blank spaces while we waited. So thank you, Director Pratt. And interesting thing here, and that is that our local health center, which is run by a private not-for-profit, but we do provide funding from the SCRD here. But they have a new, well, it's a bus. It's a handy dart bus. It's the only way you can describe it. One of the smaller vans, but with the high roof and with a wheelchair ramp at the back. And they're going to run it by, well, first off, it was funded by 2 individuals here in the harbor that just plain out and bought the bus and brand new and give it to them. And they're trying to operate it with volunteer drivers. Which has proven a little bit difficult in this COVID time. So they approached me to see if there was some way we could get some funding to actually hire a driver for a couple days a week just for the first, well, COVID's on, and then they'll go back to entirely volunteer. It's quite an initiative. As you know, it's having no handy dart here is very hard on the senior citizens and other people with mobility issues. And it's filling quite a need. So it was quite a made in Area A solution. Pretty smooth. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Director Lee. Yes, that was an interesting public hearing. That was, if it had been in public, in person, I think it would have even been shorter, but with the electronic nature, we were really trying to make sure that we offered opportunity for anyone to suddenly pop up. But we were at 20 minutes, I think, from start to finish, and most of that was spent with myself and Yuli talking. So it was, it was interesting. Next up on the list, I have Director Mcmahon and Area E. It's your turn.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I've been to lots of meetings. That will surprise everybody here, I'm sure. I'm continuing to work with the AVICC Climate Action Committee, and I'm helping to organize the AVICC Resilience Summit on November the 6th. As you know, this unfortunately collides with our budget meetings for the SCRD, but I was hoping that we could get some reasonable attendance from District of Seashell, Town of Gibsons, and Seashell Nation, if possible. The goal of the summit is to come away with some actionable items around climate change, things that municipalities can do now, right on the ground. And I have highest hopes. I'm sending my alternate because I can't attend. I'm afraid budget trumps climate, even though logically climate should trump budget, but there it is. On October the 13th, I attended the SCREDO meeting. SCREDO is looking at doing an economic analysis of transportation infrastructure on the coast. They've already looked at some possible consultants for that. That's a big thing for business on the coast. The transportation network here is a big challenge for the most part. So very interesting. You won't be surprised that Scredo is as interested in a regional growth strategy as everybody else is. And everybody will want to mark their calendars that Buy Local Week will be November the 30th to December 6th, so that you can, buy local for your Christmas shopping need. I attended the AGM of the Climate Caucus on October the 12th. The provisional board for the organization getting started up was replaced by a first fully elected board with 5 directors from BC, 3 from Ontario, and 1 from Quebec. And it's a pretty good group. Some very capable people there, which is cool, including a councillor from the city of Montreal. And so I attended the Elphinstone Community Association meeting on October 14th. And I have a new abbreviation for you. It is OBENA, which is the Ocean Beach Esplanade Neighborhood Association. So there it is. They're getting started, and they're having another meeting. I believe it's this week or next week. Really enjoyed our meeting with the Seashell Nation yesterday. I thought that was a very, very good meeting, and came away from it feeling optimistic, which is nice. I also attended 2 more AGMs last night, the Community Resource Center and the Sunshine Coast Museum and Archives. Both organizations have had a lot of impact from COVID and are wondering what on earth is next, as many of us are. And tomorrow is the How Sound Forum, and this is really exciting. A real live meeting with actual people at the Gibsons Fire Hall, Gibsons and District Fire Commission. So that's what I'm up to.
Terrific. Thank you, Director McMahon. Next up on my list, I have Director Kroll and an update from the town of Gibsons, please.
Thank you, Chair Pratt. Although it seems crazy busy, I don't have a lot to report. One of the things that I would like to, as Director McMahon mentioned, was the meeting we had yesterday with the Seashell Nation. I think it was a very valuable meeting, and I've suggested to our CAO that we have a similar joint meeting with the Squamish Nation in conjunction with the Seashell Nation, because I feel that, traditional boundaries weren't hard lines, that they probably mixed and matched a bit all over the place. And I think, as community, as, governance in the communities, it's important that we share the understanding moving forward. So I'm hoping I understand that our CAO has been talking to the regional director, and we're looking at having a joint meeting coming forward. And sort of following on to that, it's official. If you go to the National Healing Forest website and click on projects, there's a map of silhouette of a map of BC, and the town of Gibsons now officially has a National Healing Forest that is nationally registered. And I'd just like to extend, it's not exclusive to the town of Gibsons. It's something that can be shared by all communities. And, we have some amazing woodland areas on the Sunshine Coast, and to see further areas designated, I think, would be an incredible asset to our sense of values and our respect for those that have gone before us. I mentioned it yesterday. There was a very powerful line by Barbara Higgins in a documentary that was done a few years ago called Many Hands. And, you know, as she said, we walk on the bones of our ancestors. And I think that needs to be understood and respected. I too will be joining Director Mcmahon tomorrow at the Gibsons Fire Hall. So it's always nice to have an in-person meeting. Then they have an amazing meeting table. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's probably about 35 feet long, and it's a timber plank with you know, rough edges, so we can appropriately socially distance. Anyway, that's it for now from the town of Gibsons. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Kroll. Next up, I have Director Paul from the SIGD. Over to you, Director Paul, please.
Well, I would like to personally thank you all for those who attended the meeting yesterday that we hosted, and I look forward to many more like that. Nothing but positive reviews from the staff on the feedback loop, and everybody was quite content with what they heard and what they saw, and it fosters a great conversation, which we really do look forward to having. Overall, in the last 2 weeks, we've had a couple of interesting meetings. I attended a meeting with Darnelda last week with Patrick Weiler and the local group on derelict boats. Unfortunately, I had to leave earlier, but I do have all the minutes that were from that meeting, and we look forward to some really positive results coming out of that. Patrick seems rather very interested in pursuing a solution to unsolicited and basically free-for-all parking of boats in just about every nook and cranny that's available within the inlet. So I think that we can come to a pretty good solution on all that. We're just getting all geared up, and I have to apologize. I have to leave at 3. I do know that my team, we're getting ready for our EGM next Tuesday. So I'm supposed to be the one that's hosting it. So I got my senior people are saying, no, you don't get out of this one. You're going to be there, and you're going to have to attend. The last couple of weeks, we've also, when we started off this COVID thing, we didn't have an EOC program. We do now. All that's in place, and our directors are running around like crazy trying to tell me what I should be doing, and they're basically telling me I got to wear a mask no matter where I go, and that isn't going to happen too often. I think that really we've been fairly busy trying just getting prepped for our budgetary cycle. As you may know, we've had a bit of a speed bump in our system, and we're efforting to address all that. And I think we're well on our way. We've had some pretty decent meetings on how we're going to address it, and we move forward. So thank you. I think that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Director Paul. And when you gotta go, you gotta go. When your staff tells you have to be somewhere, you gotta be there, I guess. So we're very appreciative to have you here today, though, for what you can be here for. Next up, from the District of Seashell, I have Director Toth, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to sort of clarify or further communicate there with Director Lee with the Health Center. Seashell Council did authorize $40,000 from the Sunshine Coast Community Forest Legacy Fund towards that project. So I'm hoping that they took advantage of that grant money and didn't accidentally leave money on the table there. I really enjoyed the meeting that we had yesterday with the Seashell Nation. I was born and raised here and took 2 years of Seashell language in elementary school. And there were some snippets of stories that were shared yesterday that I had never heard before. And I found it to be rather informative. So thank you to Chief and Council and staff for sharing that with us yesterday. Looks like we're going to have a good turnout for the carbon engineering tour next week. I've invited board and councils and senior leadership to that. A couple days ago, I got invited up onto the roof of Trail Bay Center to have a look at the new 100 kilowatt solar array, which is the largest array possible under the BC Hydro Net metering program, as was mentioned by the Solar Association there last week. An invite has been extended for board and councils and senior management that want to see it. And I'll be sending that out the next day or two as well for that tour, hopefully for the beginning of November. That's really all I got to report on. Did end up having a quick meeting at Municipal Hall last week, which was quite new and different. And much like you sitting in the boardroom today, it's kind of strange to be in these places after so long away and the staff that are there, but there are still a lot of empty desks. So that's my report.
Thank you, Director Toth. Next up, I have Director Ties and Roberts Creek, please.
Thank you, Chair. I attended the OCP committee meeting on Tuesday, and I wanted to let you guys know that there are elections for them coming up at the end of November, and they're looking for a number of members. So spread the word. I've also created a blog post to address some of the concerns and the feedback I've received regarding food waste. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out on my website. And yes, thank you very much for the meeting with the Seashell Nation yesterday, and especially to Quash, also known as Stephen Feschuk, who shared his stories with us, and I felt honored. And so on that short note, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ties. Next up, I have Director Hiltz and Area F, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is hello, friends in American Sign Language, which I learned through, I think I got that right. So, GDPL board met virtually again on October 19th. As I said, they're doing an online story time. They're using the QR codes, you know, those things you use with the smart to allow people to sign up for Zoom meetings. So you have it on the poster, you do it with your phone, and it gets your Zoom information. So I don't know how you do that, but they're doing it. It is Canadian Library Month. And so if you want a political act for October, make sure you have a library card, which some people would say is a necessity in a healthy democracy for informed and engaged citizens. Tomorrow is the Gibson's Fire Commission, so looking forward to see some real people tomorrow. What else is going on? We have the Howe Sound Community Forum tomorrow. And as far as I know, I'm going to be speaking on behalf of the regional district to do a 5-minute update. And I'm going to draw attention to the services that the regional district provides from solid waste and ports, because it's becoming apparent that people don't know that the SCRD puts a lot of money into maintaining ports and solid waste and looking after Howe Sound through a service. So that'll be something, unless there's someone else going to be doing it, I guess I'll be doing it. So okay.
You'll be doing it.
I'm sorry?
You'll be doing it, Director Hiltz.
Thank you, Chair Pratt. And something that Director Cole mentioned, 50% through the term. And so what I'm noticing now, I'm starting to get questions about, or am I going to run for re-election? So I guess that's part of the cycle, right? You get 50% through and people start to ask you. So I'm not sure if anyone else is getting that yet, but it's, yeah, okay. Well, this is news to you. This is telling us where we are. What else have I got to say? I think, yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Director Hiltz, and looking forward to hearing about the. Okay, can you tell me what that was?
This is goodbye.
Okay.
But I'm Stan, but that's all I know, and it's time for me to say goodbye.
Okay. Thank you, Director Hiltz. I appreciate that. That's a fantastic service. Our libraries are very important, a very important backbone of our community, and I'm looking forward to hearing about the How Sound Community Forum next month at your next Director's Report. Next up on my list, I have Director Seegers, please.
Thank you. So I had the honor to open the Seashell Arts Festival, and it was held at Raven's Cry Theater. Again, first time I've been to anything like that in a long time. Felt really strange, but they kept us separated from each other. We came in and we actually got a little ticket that told us the seats we had to sit in, and those were your seats. And we wore our masks the whole time. So I took my husband. It was a Friday night. It was actually our anniversary, so I took him along, and it was really well done, really well done. So Dave Brubeck's son Dan lives on the Sunshine Coast, and he is a jazz drummer. So he helped put this together, and it started out with 2 videos, one by Barack Obama, where he was acknowledging Dave Brubeck. And Dave was there, so it was a video with the 2 of them. And the next one was Bill Clinton, same kind of thing. And then for every one of the songs that they did, Dan Brubeck talked about what the basically the impetus, or what created the song, what was behind putting this song together, the lyrics or the music or whatever. Very interesting videos throughout as well, showing some of the family growing up, some of the events, some of the different things that he'd taken part in. Was very well done. Now, Seashell Arts Festival this year, they're doing something new, again, because of COVID. For these major exhibits that they put on, they actually videotape them. And at the end of the month, they're actually going to be available for people to view online. So they're available around the world. I had the opportunity to present cupcakes to some of our staff members. Our IT department put on a cybersecurity quiz program for them. And the department that the whole department took part in, each got a cupcake, and then there were 3 staff members who got 100%. So I got to take around cupcakes and deliver them to them. I also had the honor to be representing the Sunshine Coast to the Sunshine Coast Division of Family Practice AGM. I was invited to come and say thank you to the COVID Physicians Task Force on behalf of the Sunshine Coast. They provided an amazing service to the Sunshine Coast. And I can recall, and Chair Pratt also probably remembers this, when we went to the first meeting with Vancouver Coastal Health and the chair or the director, I guess. So, and we asked, like, who is this group? Like, who is this Physicians Task Force? And they had no idea. So it actually took something for them to step up, put a message together, and come out to the community and, ensure that we had information that assisted us as a community. And one of the things I said to them, I said, they saved lives by what they did. So it was very nice to be able to do that for them. I had a meeting with Mayor Beamish, and Mayor Mike Morden from Maple Ridge around a supportive housing program that they're doing down in Maple Ridge. And we're going to get some more information coming to us from Mayor Morden. They're still putting some of those pieces together, but it's a different look at how we deal with some of the vulnerable population. And as that information comes forward, we'll make sure that gets out. I am taking part this week, believe it or not, in the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Sustainable Community Conference. I've done the odd session here and there, and they're taping all the rest of them. So in and between and around my meetings, I actually get to go to others of the sessions. So we'll see what happens next week when I go to the Smart Cities Conference. I think I have more free time next week. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Seegers. And also, something that is upcoming this weekend is the Sunshine Coast Art Crawl that is happening up and down the coast, which is a really good way to start buying, or if you haven't bought locally, or start buying Christmas presents. It's a good way to support some of our local artists around. So that is going on over the weekend, which is great to see that they've been able to do that, as well as we still have a very vibrant arts community within our along our coast, and it's important to support them. I will finish up the director's reports with a little bit of a look back, seeing as we are now past the halfway point of our team and our term. And it's been an interesting term these last 2 years so far. As a brand new board in 2018, we faced multiple challenges. A landfill rapidly approaching capacity, regional water system not sufficiently meeting the needs of our residents, and a public angry at the local governments for dragging feet, not communicating and not working well together. And these are just a few of the challenges we faced, along with being a completely brand new board, with the majority of elected across the coast as being brand new within their positions as well. So, as we look back over these last 2 years, we've gone through, we're on CAO number 4, so we're going to keep him for a while, I hope. And we've had a pandemic that has raised its head this year, and I'm just going to say once again how incredibly proud I am of this team, our team Sunshine Coast. Not just our elected folks, but our staff across the coast and our residents who aren't always happy with us and maybe asking how much longer we have left in this term so they can run against us next time. I don't know. But it's an honor to be here, and it's not always easy. And we do have a number of still difficult decisions that we have to work through together. But I'm very proud in the way that we are working together and embodying that Team Sunshine Coast spirit. I will note that with the typical change in term, or as we go forward, we will be seeing a slight change, I think, at our board table, as I understand that the municipal directors from Gibson's, there may be a bit of a change up there. So Director Kroll, I know we won't be seeing you as often anymore coming forward. I know that's not official yet, but it'll be more of a shared position with Mayor Beamish, and really appreciated having you at the table. And I'm not sure if Seashell is going to be changing their municipal directors yet. I see the big shrug there. And just so appreciate having Chief Paul here with us at the table as well. It's an honor to have you, and being part of our conversations here as well, and part of our debate. And I'm just so deeply honored to be here, and just entirely grateful for our entire team. And I know 2 years in, we're halfway there, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of years and the election thereafter. But we're moving through. So thank you, everyone. My hand's up to you all for all the work that you do and the dedication you have to our coast as a whole. So with that, I will move on to new business. We had 2 items of new business that were added in earlier today, and the first up is the Director Remuneration. Director Hiltz, did you wish to speak to that, please?
Yes, thanks, Chair. So I'm looking to authorize the alternate for Area F or other directors to attend the Vancouver Island Coastal Committee's Community Resilience Summit on November 6th, and also to have them to receive the day rate as in remuneration bylaw, and expenses would go with that. So that's what I'm looking for. So if I may make that motion, I'm not sure if there's others. Director Mcmahon. So there's going to be that blank, Camilla Berry, alternate Area F, and Donna Area E alternate,
Jason Lewis.
Okay,
Jason
so,
Lewis.
okay,
Be authorized to attend the Vancouver Island Coastal Communities Resilience Summit November 6th, and further that they receive the day rate according to the remuneration bylaw. So that's I'm looking for support on that to authorize attendance.
okay. So I'm going to, corporate officer, is that sufficient for motion?
Yes, Chair, it is. Thank you.
Okay, so once again, just to clarify, Jennifer, you got that? Okay. To clarify, that is for the alternate directors from Area F and Area E, and that's Camilla Berry from Area F and Jason Lewis from Area E to attend the November 6th summit. And this is to cover their expenses as well as the day rate. And the reason I know our directors are not going is because that is budget. So I'm going to, before we move and second that officially, I'm just going to look around to see if there were any other alternate directors that may be attending. Director Seegers?
Thank you. I'm not sure if we have had some in Seashell, like Councillor McLean, he would be an alternate director here. He had indicated that he was considering it, and so was Director Rowe. But they haven't confirmed at this point. Could we come, if they choose to go, can we come back later and reimburse them expenses retroactively?
We can, but also I'm going to look to the corporate officer because they are within the District of Seashell. My assumption is the District of Seashell would be covering their expenses for that day. We're just going to, corporate officer?
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to consult the remuneration bylaw just to be sure.
Okay.
I think that's correct, but I want to double check.
Okay. Our corporate officer is just going to take a look at that and just confirm that. But we can always do, if necessary, we can do a retroactive motion on that. We've done that certainly before. Anyone else for the speakers list on this or questions? Director Seegers?
Just a question for you. Can you see the panelists with their hands up?
Yes, I can.
Or you can, okay.
I can. I have another device open in front of me so I can see.
Okay.
So you can wave at me or you can electronically raise your hand, either way. Just don't throw things at the screen. Director McMahon?
Do we have to name the alternate directors, or can we just say we authorize our alternate directors to attend in our place? Just procedural question.
I think it would be sufficient either way. I think for clarity and transparency, it's best to put their full name in there. Corporate officer, you have an answer?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So the bylaw refers to a director or alternate director, and it doesn't specify rural or municipal, so I would say that they would be covered under the bylaw.
Okay. Did you hear that, Director Seegers? So if the alternate directors from Seashell wanted to attend, they certainly could. Director Toth, did I see your hand up?
Thank you, Chair. Just further to what Director McMahon was getting at there, I wonder if we're better off to amend to just remove the names and suggest that alternate directors be compensated for attending, which would then cover off if the District of Seashell alternates were able to go without a separate motion later on.
I am going to go procedurally from I personally would feel more comfortable with it being explicit within the motion. And if we can always come back to it, and if we need to throw something on the table as a motion and debate it, we can certainly do that as well at that time. Corporate officer?
Thank you, Chair. So we could include that they be authorized to attend, and then if they don't, we just don't provide the remuneration.
Okay. So we could do that. Okay. Director Seegers?
Thank you. I guess what I'm not clear on with this is if they were going, would they be representing District of Seashell or the regional district? And it will depend on who actually got invited. right? So if they were there representing District of Seashell, of course, Regional District would not reimburse them, and we wouldn't expect that. I think we'd be comfortable coming back later if they were doing that and asking for reimbursement. No problem.
Okay. Because the invitation came from AVICC, it's not. I don't know if the district of Seashell should have received an invitation to that as well, because it wasn't a regional district specific invitation, is my understanding. Looking to Director Hiltz and Director McMahon.
It should have gone out to all of the local governments, and it's open to both staff and elected.
Yeah. Okay. So we officially don't have a motion on the floor, but I will look to Director Hiltz to move that forward. And how would you like the wording on that? As alternate directors be authorized?
My preference would be the specificity of the people. Yeah, just for transparency, I would prefer to have the name there myself.
And do I have a seconder for that? Seconded by Director McMahon. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. And certainly do let your alternate directors know that if they would like to attend, that we can certainly take care of things after. Okay. Next up, the letter of support for Roberts Creek Community Association. Director Ties, please, to introduce.
Thank you, Chair, and my apologies for this late addition to the agenda. The letter was only sent to me around lunchtime, and thank you for everyone's flexibility. I have sent an email to everyone with the letter as well as to staff, just to give the audience a bit of an idea, which is numbered in the high zeros. I will just quickly read sort of what it's for. It's for a SARIP grant, a federal grant, and it's for the restoration of the Roberts Creek Hall and the Roberts Creek Library, including painting, siding, kitchen, washroom renovations, and an addition of washroom facilities done in the library. So that's what the ask is. The application window is very short. That's why we're doing this so quickly. It's by October 29th. And my request, therefore, is that the SCRD board write a letter of support for the Roberts Creek Community Association as per the letter, and that would be sent to them before October the 29th. Thank you.
Okay, before we actually move and second that, I'm just going to look to staff to see if there's any questions or comments regarding the request for a letter. I'm not seeing anything from staff, so I'll go to directors. Director McMahon.
Slightly reluctant to say this, but the Roberts Creek Library is not a library under the meaning of the Act. So if we would call it the reading room, I think it would be a little clearer that it's the reading room. It's a part of the community, it's important, but it's not actually a library.
Thank you, Director McMahon. Director Hiltz.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So this correspondence would need a motion to be received. Has that formality been done as part of the motion to receive the correspondence?
You know what? And we do need to do that. Thank you, Director Hiltz, for that reminder. Would you like to move receipt?
Before the initial motion, sure. I'll move a receipt of the correspondence. Yes.
Yes, thank you. And may I have a seconder for receipt of correspondence? Thank you. All those in favor in receiving this correspondence? Thank you very much. Thank you, Director Hiltz, for reminding us of that procedure. And next up, go ahead.
Yeah, just to speak to it, the Roberts Creek Hall is in the Sunshine Coast Heritage Registry, which, so, I'm supportive of the letter for sure. And that could be drawn out in a letter of support that the building is in the Sunshine Coast Heritage Registry. I believe that's still active as far as I understand. So.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to look to Director Tice to actually motivate the letter of support be written.
Yeah, I would like to make that motion that the letter of support be written. And is there anything else that needs to be added? And that it be forwarded to the Roberts Creek Community Association before October 29th.
Okay. Okay, you got that, Jennifer? Perfect. And may I have a seconder, please? I have it seconded by Director Kroll. Is there any further discussion on this item? One thing Director Seegers had mentioned earlier today is that with the amount of granting opportunities that are coming out from the federal government and potentially the provincial government after the election dust has settled, because there's that going on this weekend too, which none of us mentioned. There may be a very quick turnaround on a number of these projects and these granting opportunities. So we may be seeing more of these in the months ahead to request letters of support on a very tight timeline. So having that moved and seconded, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Thank you very much. That carries. Okay, so with that, that puts us at the end of our amended agenda for October 22nd, 2020. We will be moving in camera. I see we have no attendees list left. We will make the motion go in camera. If any questions have come forward from the public or do happen to come forward from the public before we go, then we'll answer those before we officially go in camera. But I will ask for motion that the public be excluded from attendance at the meeting in accordance with sections 91K and 92B of the Community Charter. So moved and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. And Bryce has nothing for us for questions. So with that, I'll allow everyone just a couple of minutes to secure your space. And welcome back to the regularly scheduled board meeting of October 22nd, 2020. And thank you to everyone who is still with us. I would like you've joined us just in time for us to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn, please? Director McMahon, seconded Director Ties. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carries. We will see you again at our next board meeting in November, and otherwise have a great rest of your day. And for anyone that's sticking around, we will have regional hospital districts starting at 3 p.m. this afternoon.